Hello and welcome to the Football for Kids podcast with me, Darren Rees. In this episode, we're going to be talking about the magnificent Neymar Jr. Before we get into this episode, I have a couple of things to say and a couple of people to say hello to. Firstly, this will be the last proper episode of 2022. So thank you very much to the many people from all different countries around the world who have listened and shared the podcast with their football-loving friends and family. In 2023, let's get Football for Kids to as many ears as we possibly can. I need your help by sharing the podcast whenever you can, wherever you can. The next thing is for the adults. If your kids are listening on Apple Podcasts, then please can I ask you to give the podcast a review and a star rating. And really importantly, hit the follow or the subscribe button. It helps other people find the podcast and it gets the podcast into the charts. Right, it's time for a couple of shout outs and messages. I've had a message from Phil who says, my son Marty, age 6, would love to send a shout out to his Auckland United Football Club teammates, Jack and Tommy, all the way over here in New Zealand. Well, hello to all of you. Thank you very much for listening. And hello to everybody at Auckland United Football Club. I hope you all have a wonderful Christmas. I've also had a message from Jamie, age 9, who listens in Toronto in Canada, and he says, hello Darren, I listen to your podcast when I'm in the car with my mum. We both love the podcast and our favourite episode so far is the one about football boots. Please can you do an episode on Messi versus Ronaldo? Well, thank you very much Jamie, and to your mum. I will add that one to the list of episodes to definitely do. That list is getting bigger and bigger. If you want a shout out for your football club and your teammates, or you just want to send a message, you could do so by asking an adult to send an email to footballforkidspodcast@gmail.com. The email address is in the description of the podcast, so it's easily copied. Right, it's time for this episode. Do you know what Neymar's full name is? It's Neymar da Silva Santos Jr. Neymar is Brazilian, and in Brazil they have quite long names, a bit like they do in Portugal, from what you heard on the Cristiano Ronaldo episode. In fact, did you know that the most commonly spoken language in Brazil is Portuguese? Maybe it's something to do with the Portuguese language and really long names. Neymar Jr. got his name from his dad, Neymar Sr. Neymar's dad was also a footballer and has been his agent his entire life. Neymar Jr. used to play a lot of street football on the streets in Brazil, and his dad knew from a very, very young age that he was a seriously talented and determined footballer. Neymar started his senior football career at 17 years old with a Brazilian club called Santos. Santos played in the top Brazilian football division, and Neymar was a big part of helping his club win the league 2 years in a row and a massive football tournament in Brazil, which is a bit like the FA Cup. Neymar was quickly being noticed as a very special football player. Neymar played 177 games for Santos and scored 107 goals for them. After 177 games and sticking goals into every part of the net almost every game, the big guys in the football world had their eyes firmly on Neymar. In 2013, a couple of teams made big offers to try and get Neymar to their club, and the winning club who secured Neymar was FC Barcelona. Normally, when a club secures a player, it is announced how much money they paid for that player. But for some reason, when they signed Neymar, at the time, the money wasn't announced. Neymar had a presentation at the Nou Camp, which is Barcelona's football ground, and nearly 56,000 fans turned up to get a glimpse of him in a Barcelona kit. At the time, no other player had ever had so many fans turn up to see a new player being presented to the club. I think it's fair to say that it was an exciting time for Neymar and the fans of Barcelona. When Neymar joined Barcelona, he became a part of an attacking trio alongside his partners in crime, Messi and Luis Suarez. One of the most successful seasons in Barcelona's history was the season which went over the years 2014 and 2015, when Barcelona won the treble, which in Spanish football means winning the La Liga, a big Spanish tournament called Copa del Rey, and the Champions League. The dangerous trio, Messi, Suarez and Neymar, were on fire, and the three players were banging goals in left, right and centre. The Barcelona fans had cut-out pictures of the trio's faces, and the fans in the stadium would wear these to make it look like the trio were in the stands watching the games. Neymar, over 4 years at Barcelona, added his name to the list of the greatest players to ever play for the club. He played 186 La Liga games for Barcelona and scored a whopping great 105 goals, and assisted plenty more with his swift and slick skills. In Neymar's final season for Barcelona, he was playing in the Champions League against PSG. In the first leg, Barcelona was smashed by PSG 4-0. In the Champions League, at the start of a competition, each team plays each other at home and then again away. The winner of the two matches is decided by the total amount of goals scored over the two games, on something called aggregate. Because Barcelona were already 4-0 down going into the second game, if they were to win and go through to the next stage of the competition, they would need to hammer PSG. And that they did. Barcelona beat PSG 6-1. Neymar scored 2 goals and assisted in the final deciding goal to put Barcelona through. Neymar was given man of the match, and this is still, to the day, the greatest Champions League comeback in the history of the competition. In 2017, Neymar went from one great club to yet another when he joined France's PSG. Neymar's opening season at PSG was a bit of an up and down one, due to injuries, and there was even a bit of talk about him returning back to Barcelona. However, he stuck it out and is now part of yet another terrifying trio. A terrifying trio of attacking players, alongside his teammate Mbappe and his other teammate Messi. That is some trio of forwards: Mbappe, Messi and Neymar. So far, Neymar has played 164 games for PSG and has scored 115 goals. However, not only has Neymar been a super player for 3 clubs that he's played for, but he's also become a bit of a national hero in Brazil. In 2010, the legendary player Pelé urged the Brazilian football manager to take Neymar to the World Cup in South Africa. But even with Pelé, a Brazilian legend, advising the Brazilian football manager, Neymar didn't make the squad. Brazil made it to the quarter-finals that year and were knocked out by the Netherlands. After the 2010 World Cup, Neymar started to make it into the team and was assisting and banging goals in, showing the world what a talent he was. Since then, Neymar has continued to play such a big part in the Brazil national side, playing 124 games for his country and scoring 77 goals. Neymar is an incredible player and has played such a major part in so many important games, and at 30 years old, hopefully he's got at least a few years left of stunning football to show us. I hope that you've enjoyed listening and learning about Neymar Jr and his wonderful career so far. A reminder that on Christmas Day there will be a Football for Kids Christmas quiz episode released, which you and everyone you are spending Christmas with can play along to. And remember, if you know somebody who loves football just as much as you do, then please tell them about Football for Kids. And whether you're playing football soon, watching it on the telly or pitch side, I hope you enjoy the game. See you next time.